Hello, my name is Chelsea Wolfe, and I'm going to be explaining today about the Digital Literature Circle unit that I've prepared. Students will participate in Literature Circle unit with a digital component. Whole class novel units serve an important purpose for students in English classes, helping students to understand literary devices, plot structure, and practice reading a fiction text. A digital literature circle unit is an extension of the whole class novel unit and creates opportunities for students to have a sense of control and responsibility as they navigate semi-self-directed learning, self-advocacy, and interpersonal academic collaboration. This is a unit designed for 8th grade ELA teachers integrating technology into a pre-existing literature circle unit. The unit is designed to extend learning by fostering student choice, self-directed learning, as I had said, and to offer real-time student-to-student and student-to-teacher collaboration. The objectives of this unit is that the students will read a novel and analyze through roll sheets literary devices with 85% accuracy. The students will communicate their understanding of the novel and literary devices through in-class discussions and online roll sheet completions and collaboration with 100% participation and 85% accuracy. The unit was based on Madeline Hunter's work, who uses a systematic approach to unit design in 7 steps. Those 7 steps are seen here. You have the anticipatory set, objective purpose, input, modeling, checking for understanding, guided practice, and finally, independent practice, where students apply what they have learned. So how does that apply to the literature circle unit day to day? So on day 1, we would have students engage in a digital free write. What makes good discussion? The class will comment on one another's work, and then in small groups will share out the top component their group decided answered the question. The class will create a digital shared working document compiling the ideas from the class discussion. Sentence starters and stems will be introduced. These will be resources that they'll be accessing throughout the rest of the unit to engage in online and in-class discussions. Day 2 will focus on objectives, where the teacher will share the objectives for the Literature Circle unit, including explaining the roll sheet, discussion expectations, deadlines, and supports available. Students will be broken into groups based on student learning goals, reading levels, and novel interests, unless the class decides to do a whole class novel for a Literature Circle unit, which many of our teachers decide to do based upon the levels of their classes. Day 3 is input and modeling. The teacher will directly teach how to utilize the sentence stems and how to complete the digital mind map. The teacher will then use a fishbowl discussion strategy to model for the students the format of the literature circles and use the use of sentence stems to participate in conversations with their group members. A fishbowl discussion strategy, if you're not familiar, is when you have a group of students in the center and then another group on the outside. The ones in the fishbowl are in the center, and they're modeling for the students on the outside who are watching how to go about having that discussion. Day 4 will be guided practice. And then 5 and 6, we have independent practice, where students will be working independently, reading their novel in small groups, and completing digital assignments, including the roll sheets in Google Docs and the concept map in Canva. Lastly, we'll check for understanding through in-class discussions and have closure with a unit survey. Throughout all of this, we'll have everyday exit slips that students will complete that are assessing their understanding and how they're collaborating with their groups. So why Google Tools? What is the value added? Well, for Google Classroom, it is a centralized space to share and access information, documents, and resources. There is so much ease of communication when you utilize Google Classroom spaces. Students can log in, their parents can log in, They can see all the resources posted right there, and they can also comment to one another, and it can go back and forth. You don't have to wait till you come into class and get a handout from the teacher. Oh, you lost your handout when you went home. That's okay. You can go on your Google Classroom and access those materials. What is the value added for using Google Docs to complete the roll sheets? You have timely teacher feedback and high student-to-student collaboration. So pre-digital tools, when I wanted to respond to my students, I would have to have them handwrite or print out a document, give it to me. I would take it home. I would grade it. The next day when I would see them in class, I would be able to respond. Now, they can be working on the assignment at home. I can go into the Google Doc that they have shared with me on Google Classroom, and I can respond to what they're saying. We can have real-time feedback, student to students. It doesn't have to be just in class. It also doesn't have to be verbal. They can engage in nonverbal written collaboration. An example of Google Docs, and you can see the comments on the side as people can respond and have dialogue with one another. So for the level of integration, it would be modification. As the teacher, I can have open conversations with students via the Google Doc tools by editing and commenting on their assignments. The online dialogue can occur in a more sensitive manner, as I've said, and the dialogue can also be embedded in the student's work. Another way it allows for modification because students can share, comment, and engage in collaborative learning with their peers in different classes or at other middle schools in our district that the students otherwise would never have access to. This is modification because it's not changing the learning objectives of the unit, but rather modifying them. For our mixed ability grouping, I will be pre-teaching and scaffolding material, including providing background knowledge and scaffolding the learning. I will use assistive technologies such as audio for students who, some of our ML learners, or students who the novel is above their reading level. And then I'll also have resource access. This is an example. If our class was doing, as it is for this unit, the book The Outsiders, they will have access to YouTube audio files. They can go on there, listen to each chapter as they're following along in their book. For our assessments, students will be completing digital roll sheets. That will be what they'll be posting and commenting back and forth to each other. There'll also be the exit slips and in-class discussions that we'll be having. And I will be circulating, monitoring, formatively assessing those conversations. And we'll have our digital collaborations with the roll sheets. This is a student example of a concept map that the student will have an opportunity to create where it breaks down their thinking and helps the students brainstorm. This is an example of a roll sheet, the illustrator who can use digital tools to draw pictures or edit the roll sheet that they've been assigned. There's so much that goes in to digital literature circles. This topic previously was taught with paper packets, physical novels, in-class discussion. This low-tech approach is productive but has limitations. Students' interactions are limited to class time. Teacher feedback is limited to verbal or written on papers with high lag time, and access to integrated resources is minimal. Without the chosen technology, the unit would be taught through in-class writing, paper, pencil. By having student learning take place in a digital space, it can potentially improve because students can collaborate in multimodal methods, participate in interactive learning platforms,